Hey everybody, how's it going? I hope you had a good New Year's. This will be my first video of 2020. In today's video, we're gonna go over some of the tackle, the rods, the reels, floats, baits to catch more winter steelhead. So stay tuned guys, it's gonna be a good video. My name is Adrian, I'm the True North Angler. Many of you guys know I do a lot of steelheading throughout the year. The best time to go steelheading it's usually in the fall and early spring, usually October, November, December, and then kind of dies down in December during the winter months, and also picks up again in March and April. So because it is January right now, so the fishing conditions are kind of tough, but we're gonna go over some of the tackle I use to catch some of these steelhead. So we're gonna start off with the rods and the reels. So what I have here is one of my rods. This is a custom-made rod. It's a CTS blank, which was made by a good friend of mine. I'm not sure if you can see that. It's a light rod, basically for steelhead, and it's also equipped with the EVA reel. This is a 5-inch center pin, and I also have 8-pound Suffix Elite on as my main line. The other rod that I use basically for bigger tributaries like the Niagara or maybe like the Salmon River, like a bigger body of water basically, is I have a River's Edge Wild Water Series center pin on an IMX, G Loomis IMX rod. So I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. So this is the other reel you guys might have seen me using on my fishing videos. This is also a 5-inch center pin with a 10-pound Suffix Siege main line. This is a little bit a heavier rod. It's a G Loomis IMX Custom, rated 6 to 10. So this is the rod that I would probably use on a bigger river, like the Niagara, the Salmon River. This is also what I use for salmon in the fall to catch them. So that's what that's mainly the two rods I use to catch steelhead, browns, and salmon. So okay, next what we're gonna do is go over the tackle. So if you're gonna fish a bigger body of water like the Niagara, I strongly suggest you guys fish these slip bobber floats. This is a Drennan Zeppler. This is the package. This is a 20-gram slip bobber float. So you run your line right through here, and then you put a rubber stopper there, and you can adjust your float to the depth of the water. This will hold a lot of weight so you can cast farther, especially in the bigger body of water where you have to get in the middle of the river where the fish are. This holds a lot of weight. So, and then you can go down to a smaller one. This is a smaller one. This is, I believe, 11 grams. So you can see the difference. It's a little bit smaller, but this is for a smaller river. Like I said, maybe like the Credit River or a smaller body of water. The other floats I like to use are these Blackbird Phantoms. As you can see on the back, it rates it at 10.5 grams. So you can go in different sizes. Like I said, that's a 10.5. There's another one here. If you can see, that one's rated at 7 grams, so you can go a little bit smaller. And this is also a 7 gram. This is mainly the floats I use on the rivers, basically the medium-sized body of water. And the other floats I like to use as well are these Riverwood. These are balsa floats. As you can see, different sizes. You're going for 4 grams. This is a 5 gram, and this I believe it's a 7 gram float, which holds a lot more weight. I like these because they're durable, and I've had these probably for 5-6 years now. So these are good if you're fishing clear water, because the floats are clear, so you won't spook the fish. And yeah, so that's my floats. Then I basically run it to a swivel, just a micro swivel, and then I run my fluorocarbon leader. Now fluorocarbon leaders, everybody has their own preference. I basically use 2 brands. I use the Adrenaline 5-pound fluorocarbon leader. This is really strong. This is more like 8-pound test. And I also like the Raven Invisible fluorocarbon. You can get 6.8 pounds if you're fishing for salmon or a bigger river like the Niagara. Mostly what I use is 5.6 pound leader. This is basically, fluorocarbon supposed to be invisible in water, so it's hard to see. And you can also go down into 4.5 test. I don't use this much just because I don't like to fish gin clear water. Usually when the water's that clear, the fish are spooky, they can see you. So I mostly use the 5-pound Drennan and the 5.6. This is what I recommend. This is what I use. So I'm very happy with that. So then I use my fluorocarbon leader, and then at the end you can go to your bait. Now early in the season, I usually use beads just because the salmon are in the rivers like September, October, November. The fish are spawning, so you want to go into beads. I like this brand, the Creek Candy, which is made in Canada. This is the peach jello color. You can also go to the chartreuse color. In stained water, let's say the water is a foot of visibility or greater, you want to use something bright that they can see. That's just 2 colors. Some of my favorite colors to use all around, especially in clear water, is the Blood Dot Bead. I don't know if you can see. It's one of my go-to beads. It's an 8mm bead. That's really good. Catches me a lot of fish. This is also called the Bloody Mary on the Creek Candy, another 8mm bead. White is also popular. I catch lots of fish on the white bead, 8mm as well. And like I said, if you're fishing stained water, go to chartreuse. You can also go to a 10mm, which is a bigger size. They can see it better. Also the hot pink works really good in stained water. That's the 8mm. You can also go to the 10mm one so they can see it. So those are my favorite beads, favorite colors. I don't have a great amount of beads like some other people. I just have a little bead box here with hooks and these bead pegs. Basically you put it in just to hold it on the line. And then you want to use a bead hook, which basically it looks like this. Just a straight shank, wide gap hook. So that's the beads. But in the winter time, what I like to use is a lot of jigs. Basically, this is one of the brands I use. It's just a marabou jig. This one's a 1/16 ounce. When the water is cold, the fish really start keening on jigs. So white is also popular for, that's another marabou jig. This works good for Niagara. It just imitates a bait fish, right? So that's a good one to use. Stained water, I like to use black. This is a black marabou tied by a good friend of mine, Paul, from Chromecast. He tied a bunch for me. I'll show you another one. This has got a chartreuse bead head. And then obviously one of my most productive is this one with the wiggly legs. I don't have the black one, but this is like a bug. So you basically put it in the water and you kind of wiggle around. You catch a lot of fish. It depends on the watercolor. This one's got a chartreuse bead head. This also works good. It looks like a minnow. It's got almost like a minnow head. Caught a cohos on these as well. And sometimes when the bite's not on and you want to switch it up to something different, you could also use a pink worm. Basically, I just put that on a jig. Works good. I caught one of my biggest rainbows on this a few years ago. If you see my profile picture, my avatar picture with that big steelhead, that's what I got that fish on in March, is this. Now you can just take a regular jig head and then just buy the pink worms. You can either hook it up to a jig head or you just put it on a straight hook. And you can also go to the gulp pink worms as well, just to change it up. So that's pretty much what I use for winter steelheading. Sometime in the spring and in the fall, I'll definitely use the beads. They work really good. They imitate the single legs. And I will show you after this video is done some video footages of some fish I caught on beads and jigs. So that's pretty much it. Like I said, winter time, I would stick to jigs and bugs. Like the black really works good in the winter time, just because the fish are not spawning in the winter time. They usually spawn in the fall and in the springtime. So you want to go something with jigs. This is another one that Paul tied for me. It's a black jig. Works really, really good. So those are my tips and tricks for you guys. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to email me. My email is truenorthangler13@gmail.com. Also, it's in the my about section on my channel. So thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully that helps you guys get into some more steelhead. So thanks for watching. If you like this video and the content, please consider subscribing. Leave me a comment, thumbs up. I appreciate it. Thanks for all your support, guys. Tight lines. Adrian, I'm out.